Welcome to Biochemistry DSP channel. In this video, I'll be explaining about the metabolism of chylomicrons as part 1. As we all know that chylomicrons are the largest lipoproteins in size and these are synthesized in the intestinal mucosal cells and are secreted into the lacteals of lymphatic system. These chylomicrons these are synthesized in the intestinal mucosal cells after the digestion and absorption of dietary fats. The quantity of chylomicrons synthesized in the intestinal mucosal cells depends upon the amount of triglycerides absorbed. So, these chylomicrons are rich in triglycerides. The nascent chylomicrons, okay, most of the chylomicrons will contain apoprotein B48, which is synthesized in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The nascent chylomicrons, that is the newly synthesized chylomicrons, which are formed in the intestinal cells, will contain apoprotein B48 and apoprotein A. So, once they enter into the blood circulation, these nascent chylomicrons will acquire other apoproteins like apoprotein E and apoprotein C from the circulating HDL, high density cholesterol. So, these chylomicrons will be found as a white creamy layer on the top. Okay, when you keep this serum, what will happen if you keep the serum overnight in the refrigerator means what will happen means these chylomicrons will be seen as a creamy layer at the top of the serum. So this creamy layer is nothing but it's showing that chylomicrons are rich in triglycerides. Okay, so chylomicrons are found in the chyle in the intestine. They transport all the dietary lipids into circulation, and small amount of VLDL is also found in the chyle. Uh, these chylomicrons and VLDL will act as vehicles to transport triglycerides from the liver to extrahepatic tissues. Now we'll go on to the metabolism of chylomicrons. So the site for metabolism of chylomicron is adipose tissue and skeletal muscle. Half-life of chylomicron is about 1 hour in blood, and the enzyme which is required for to cleave this triglyceride which is present in the chylomicron is lipoprotein lipase. Insulin will increase the activity of this enzyme lipoprotein lipase, and these chylomicron remnants will be cleared with in the liver. Okay, liver will uptake this chylomicron remnants. So this is the overall metabolism of chylomicrons. So first in this metabolism, after the absorption of this dietary fat, the chylomicrons will be synthesized in the intestinal mucosal cells, and it will be formed as nascent chylomicron or newly synthesized chylomicron. So these chylomicron will have the apolipoprotein 48 as well as apolipoprotein A. So once they enter into the circulation, they get other lipoproteins, apolipoproteins like apoprotein C and apoprotein E from the circulating HDL, and it will be converted into a mature chylomicron. So the mature chylomicron will contains which is rich in triglyceride, cholesterol, will have the apolipoproteins B48, apolipoprotein C, apoprotein A as well as apoprotein E. Okay, this is called the chylomicron. So these chylomicrons act as a chief carrier for exogenous triglyceride. Exogenous triglyceride means it is the dietary fat. So, these chylomicrons will transport the dietary triglycerides from the intestine to extrahepatic tissues. The 80%, most of the triglyceride, exogenous triglyceride will be transported to the extrahepatic tissues like adipose tissues, skeletal muscles, and cardiac muscles, and the remaining 20% will be transported to liver. So in this metabolism, now this chylomicron with apoprotein 48, apoprotein C, apoprotein A, and apoprotein E, which is rich in uh, triglyceride and cholesterol will be acted upon by the enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. So this lipoprotein lipase will act upon this triacylglycerol to convert the TG, the triacylglycerol, into glycerol plus fatty acid, free fatty acid. These free fatty acids, uh, which are released from the hydrolysis of triacylglycerol by the action of lipoprotein lipase, will be taken up by the extrahepatic tissues, uh, where they are utilized for energy production. Okay, so these free fatty acids will be undergoing beta oxidation in the extrahepatic tissues to provide energy for this muscles. Okay, or it can be re-esterified into triglycerides, and it will be stored in the adipose tissue. So this is the fate of this triglyceride. Okay, now after releasing 90% of triglycerides, this chylomicron will shrink in its size. Okay, it will, after once all the content of TG are reduced, the chylomicrons will shrink in its size, uh, and it will also release the apolipoproteins C as well as apolipoprotein A. Only this apoprotein 48 and apoprotein E will be intact with this chylomicron. That time this chylomicron is called as chylomicron remanence. So chylomicron remanence nothing but it has lost all the 90% of triglycerides. Only it is having now only 10% of triglyceride plus it is rich in cholesterol alone. So now it is called as chylomicron remnant. This apoprotein 48 and apoprotein E will be intact. Okay, whereas apoprotein A and apoprotein C will be released in blood circulation, where it will be useful to synthesize HDL. Okay. Now, after once it is formed into chylomicron remnants, it will enter into liver. Okay, for further metabolism, this chylomicron remnants will enter into the liver through two types of receptors. One type of receptor is called as LRP receptor. So LRP receptor is nothing but LDL receptor related protein. L stands for LDL receptor related protein. So through this LRP receptor, it will enter into the liver cell, or through LDL LDL receptor, okay, which mediate endocytosis. So either through LRP receptor or through LDL receptor mediator endocytosis, these chylomicron remnants will enter into the liver cell for further metabolism. Now this chylomicron remnant is having rich source of cholesterol, and it is having less amount of TG. This small amount of this TG is also converted into free fatty acid and glycerol, and most of the cholesterol will be converted into, that is esterified cholesterol, everything will be converted into free cholesterol. So in the liver only, after the metabolism of this chylomicron remnant, we get free cholesterol and free fatty acid and glycerol. Then some of the chylomicron remnants will be metabolized into phospholipid rich lipoprotein. So such phospholipid rich lipoprotein will be termed as remnants. Okay, it is further cleaved into remnants. So it is phospholipid rich content is called as remnant. Uh, the fate of this phospholipid remnants is not known, and the catabolism of chylomicrons will be very rapid. So all these steps what I have explained, that is very rapid steps, and the off life of this disappearance of chylomicron from blood is about 60 minutes in humans. Okay, so within 60 minutes the entire chylomicrons will be degraded or metabolized in the liver. Okay, so this is about the metabolism of chylomicron. Uh, okay, I'll recap again. So from the dietary source, most of the dietary TGs will be absorbed in the small intestine and through lymphatic circulation. Uh, it will be the nascent chylomicrons will enter into the blood circulation. The nascent chylomicron will be rich in TG and cholesterol, which will have apoprotein B48 and apoprotein A. During circulation, it will acquire apoprotein C and apoprotein E to form the mature chylomicron, which will have all apolipoproteins embedded into it. And once this is acted upon by this lipoprotein lipase, this it will be this most of the TG will be converted into glycerol and free fatty acid. This lipoprotein lipase is found only in the blood capillaries. Okay, it is found only in the blood capillaries, heart, adipose tissue, lungs, spleen, renal medulla, and lactating mammary gland, but it is not present in the blood. You have to remember that. Okay, this lipoprotein lipase is present only in the blood capillaries, but it is absent in the blood. So once when you inject heparin, it this lipoprotein lipase will be released from the surface walls, and it will enter into the blood circulation to cleave this lipemia condition. So lipemia is nothing but rich of triglycerides. So once this lipoprotein lipase is released with the help of heparin injection, it will clear the lipemia condition. That time it is called as post heparin lipolytic activity. For the action of this lipoprotein lipase, phospholipids and apoprotein C2 will be required as cofactors to activate this enzyme, and apoprotein A2 and apoprotein C2 will act as inhibitor to inhibit this enzyme lipoprotein lipase. So most of the triacyl glycerol will be hydrolyzed into diacyl glycerol, and which can converted into monoacyl glycerol. Finally, it will be converted into free fatty acid and glycerol. This free fatty acid, which in turn, no, it will bind with albumin, which get transported into tissues. In heart, this lipoprotein lipase will enable the delivery of fatty acids from triacyl glycerol to be redirected from adipose tissues to earth during the starvation condition, where the plasma triacyl glycerol decreases. The same condition is observed in the mammary gland during the lactation period, which will allow the uptake of lipoprotein TG for the formation of milk fat. Okay, so during that condition, that time it will be redirected from adipose tissue to heart by the action of lipoprotein lipase in the heart. And the same way in the mammary gland also, the enzyme will allow the uptake of lipoprotein TG fatty acids for the formation of milk fats. Okay, for the formation of milk. So this is about the metabolism of chylomicrons, and the function of chylomicron is to transport dietary triacylglycerol from the intestine to the adipose tissue for storage, or to the extrahepatic tissues for their energy need. This is the function of this chylomicron and the metabolism of chylomicrons. Okay, so I hope you would have understood this metabolism of chylomicrons clearly. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe and support the channel Biochemistry DSP. Thank you.